Hey guys, welcome back to the Time Bomb channel. Of course, with myself, the Bombardier. Thanks as always for stopping by and checking out the new reviews. Got a newish watch here for you. You probably all will know of Deep Blue. They've been around for a few years now, and it's a brand that I've been wanting to get eyes on for a while. And kind of like a case of the sailor's itch, I have finally succumbed and allowed myself to scratch it. Initially, I was a little overwhelmed by their range and sort of release of models. You kind of look at all of the multiple options that you've got there and you think to yourself, all right, where do I start? And primarily that's because it's not clear specifically what differentiates each model. I'm wondering if a website redesign might benefit in order to make those models stand out from each other a little bit better. As I say, they've been around. I think it's from the 2007ish, something like that, and they're based in New York. And as the name suggests, they focus on dive-ready watches. But I'm not sure if they actually make them in the US or in Hong Kong. If you do know, please do drop a comment down below. So the watch that we're going to be looking at today comes in this sort of, kind of like spectacle case packaging. It's a sort of semi-new release. I got it at launch the other week as it came with a very nice positive 40% discount. And here is our watch for the day. It's a redo, I think, of a similar watch that they released a few years ago, which was quartz and had Trit 25 tubes. Again, I'm not 100% sure if that's an identical, up replica or regrade of that watch, but again, that's about my confusion with the brand. I mean, they're kind of prolific with their releases, and I find it very easy to get lost with what they're doing. It's a variation of the day-night diver range and is simply called the PC T100 model, and the PC referring to the polycarbonate case here, which super hard wearing and very light. Let's just refocus the camera there 1 second. Yeah, perfect. So much better. So as I was saying, so this is the polycarbon case. As I say, extremely hard wearing, and as a consequence as well, very light indeed. So as I got this on the pre-launch, as I say, it came with that 40% discount, and they also then threw in these little things here as as like a promo aspect, and these both can slide onto the strap if you're inclined. So essentially what we get then is a compass and a thermometer. It's kind of nice to get them for free, and yes, they both do work, but the finishing and the quality on them is crap. The resin on these things here is kind of like, it looks like it's marked up or something, but even when you try and clean it, it looks like it's got some really sticky residue all over it. And then you can see you've got the sort of plastic extrusion stuff as well, stuck all over the place. Really disappointing, and I'm personally wondering if they should have actually bothered, giving those out free. It's a little bit detrimental to the brand or to the watch that you're receiving. But this is our watch for today. So let's kick off with some key specs. So we're looking at 45 mils across, and that does then include, that's at its widest point with the crown here. It sits on then 51 mils north to south. It's also 14 mils in depth, and then it sits on these 22 mil lugs here. So yeah, quite a large wrist print in that sense, but don't just think of the specs. As I mentioned, because of that polycarb case, this model on this particular strap only weighs 86 grams. As I say, 86 grams, even with that large wrist print, is going to make this wearable for most of us. You've got then sapphire up the top with some blue AR. You can just about pick it up there. On also, it does come then, as we can just see at the bottom of the dial there, 200 meters worth of watery goodness. But surprisingly for me, this is a push me, pull me crown, then using gaskets. The crown is a very good size to get hold of. In addition to which, You can also then wind it in the closed position, but I'm a bit shocked, a bit surprised. For a company that sells, as you can see at the top there, under the logo, they sell precision divers. I'm a little bit perplexed as to why, that's not a screw down crown, and why they are not necessarily then gunning for ISO standards. I think it would just elevate the brand massively. And to me, it just makes marketing sense. You call yourself the Blue Precision Divers. Make the watch ISO compliant, and you're just going to achieve something else with this. It is a 60-click unidirectional bezel. Let's have a quick listen here. I mean, really, really, really solid. This thing is going absolutely nowhere. There's zero movement on it at all. Absolutely fixed. So you're not going to knock it out of place at all. It requires a very, very positive movement to shift it around, which I absolutely think is brilliant. I know many guys do prefer, the 120 clickers, but I think in its defense, and it's perhaps not as refined, that sound or that movement. I think it really does fit the design brief of this, because I'm going to go out on a limb and say this isn't really a dive watch. It's more of an active, field, all-purpose watch, I think. And as a consequence, I said, is that really chunky, hard to move bezel, I think just fits with that much better. In addition to which, our loom pip up at the top is then protected just by, we just see it there, little metal shroud on it, which I think, again, really, really nice touch. Stop you from knocking it off, as opposed to these things, where they just typically just stick them on with a bit of glue. That's a really nice touch. Buzzing away inside, then we've got the trusty NH35, robust movement, well known by most of us, and essentially should be pretty much problem free. The watch then uses the T100 tritium tube markers. They're on the hour markers then, so we've got 17 tubes in total. You've got the 2 orange tubes at the 12 o'clock, helping you to distinguish which way up the watch is, and then the single markers elsewhere, allowing for very, very quick and easy reading in low light. Tritium tubes obviously then having the advantage over loom in that they don't need charging, but the downside being is that they do have a shorter shelf life compared to the loom. But to me, the tritium on this is absolutely, absolutely superb. Note in all of these photos how legible it is in all lights. And then this last image here was taken from about 1.5 meters to 2 meters away, because I really wanted to show you how much it just pops in the dark, and again how positive those colors are and how you can still tell the time from that distance. Bloody impressive. Really, 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 really good. So there's a bit of dust just on the on the crystal there. I can see. That's it. Got rid of that. While we're talking about legibility and things like that, the hands are kind of understated in that sense. They're pretty simple. The seconds hand and the minute hand doesn't extend into the minute track, and I'm wondering if perhaps in the future they could give you the option to choose maybe some slightly different colors for your hands. Maybe make the seconds hand like a red or an orange or something like that, again just to differentiate from all the black and the white and the gray here. The case body, as I mentioned before, as I say, so this plastic, essentially polycarb case there. Nice little drop down on the lugs. The case back itself, held in by those very 4 simple screws. The diver image on here is basic at best. They haven't spent a lot of money on that one, have they? And this is, I think, where to me we could really see a step change in this brand. They throw on like a lock screw back here, and it's going to change this the utility of this watch, I think, massively. And again, spend a little bit more money, guys, on something other than a printed on case back design. The date window down here at the 4, sort of sits in place of that digit, and it kind of works pretty well. I think it would have worked even better if they'd located it at the 6 again, but that's just me being a little bit fussy. The strap here is very, very soft and very comfortable. I've been wearing it for a couple of days now, and as you can see, it's marked up a little bit. But again, that might just need a little bit of a wash down. And I haven't worn this obviously in the heat because now it's autumn, winter over here. But I'm wondering on a hot day how sweaty you might get wearing this. I have to say, I think that the very, very interesting change from their standard stainless steel, and I think they're clearly having a pop at Luminox, who charge almost triple for the same style of watch. But it does then, of course, come without the QC issues that seem to plague Luminox. I mean, as you can see here, pretty much. I mean, obviously because it's automatic, everything lines up. Your seconds hand there is tripping around comfortably. And again, this is an automatic as opposed to the Luminox Quartz. But the one downside, of course, is that you might find both of these on certain shopping channels. I think in conclusion, for the £140 that I paid for this, which is around $190 US, I think it's an absolutely superb option, and I'm very, very happy with it indeed. I've been wearing it, as I say, all week. It feels absolutely great on wrist. Actually, let me just throw it on wrist while I'm rambling. But considering that the price that they want to sell this at, which is, post-launch, so let me just show you there on wrist, as I say, it fits so well, and it's incredibly comfortable. It's not too tall that it doesn't sit under sleeves or anything like that. And as I say, those 86 grams worth of weight make it very, very, very wearable indeed. The $499, I think, if I'd seen this watch for $499, I wouldn't have paid that. It's just not something I would have even considered at all. I think it's a superb tool watch. It looks good. It wears very well. And I think at that introductory price, the build quality ratio is excellent. And I think you'd be very hard pressed to beat it or to beat that value proposition. At $499, it's just not an option. It loses out instantaneously to the competition or the opposition. If they made this ISO compliant, I think it would then offer something additional and elevate the watches. But I don't know who's paying those full prices for these things. You get them at launch, or you get them on their discount. With their discounts, and 40% off makes this a very, very doable watch. And I think is fantastic. Really, really impressed with it. What I need to do now, obviously, is wear it for about 6 months, beat it up, see how it holds up, and then do a follow-up review for you. But of course, as always, that's just my view. What do you guys reckon? If you've owned any of their other watches and had them for a little bit of time, let us know what your thoughts are down below. And of course, until next time, this is your host, the Bombardier, signing off. Cheers, guys.